Katie from Useful Idiots and also from Laughing Liberally. She has done so much good stuff. She's been a writer at Feministing. I mean, she gave us her bio, but I know her personally, so I'm just hyping all the things she used to do. Writer, podcast host, and video correspondent. Hosts the Podcast and WBAI radio show, The Katie Halper Show, and co-hosts the Rolling Stone podcast, Useful Idiots, which we just listened to a section of where they interviewed Noam Chomsky. Katie is joining us live here now. I'm putting her on promote to panelist in our Zoom chat, and she's going to be here soon. I'm so excited to see her. I haven't seen her in a really long time, even though we're both on the same radio network. Radio is a lonely business. Hi, Katie. I think you have to unmute your camera and your...
Okay, great.
Hi. Oh my God, it's nice to see you.
You too.
How are you doing?
Good. I forgot. I left the bathroom door open. How's my setup? I have a much better one than I'm setting up here. I'm outside of New York City, but
did you leave on purpose to escape the virus? Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Are you with your parents?
There's my mom. Let's see. Did you show up? Mom, you're in the shot, Mom. Just your hand.
I love her. Come back in here.
I know. It's Julianna Furlano. Say hi, Mom.
Hi.
How are you? Can you hear her? She said, how are you?
Yes, we're under quarantine.
She says, how's your little one?
She's getting bigger and she's adorable and I'm quarantined in the house with her. Can someone please help?
She's getting bigger and she's adorable and she's quarantined in the house with her. Can someone please help? That's Juliana's message.
Katie, why did you make the decision to leave?
I just thought it would be less. So I'm outside and I'm upstate-ish. I'm actually not upstate. I'm in a place that's like that dumb New York Cityers like myself call upstate.
Westchester County?
No, it's 2.5 hours away, to be fair. It's just not particularly. Should I close that window, by the way? Is that distracting?
No, it's fine. We're just all trying to read your mom's bank account statement.
Oh, yeah. There, yeah. You should read my mom's book, everyone. A little plug for my mom, Nora Eisenberg.
What's the book about?
Eisenberg. Well, she has a couple. One is called The War at Home, which is about, it's fictionalized. What? Okay, Mom, she didn't put me up to this, but now she's telling me to say the number of novels. But yeah, she has 4 novels out, but one of them, I was going to start with that, Mom, is The War at Home. It's fictionalized memoirs about growing up in the Bronx.
I love it.
And her dad comes back from World War II, shell-shocked, as they used to say, and now they say with PTSD. Also, a really good one is When You Come Home, which is about 3 generations of war. So they're political. And
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom can come and be a guest on the show while we're all quarantined. Why not?
Yeah, she could do a reading.
That would be awesome. I will email you. I'll have Alana set that up. That would be really
I don't know why I didn't think of that. Mom, I'm going to recommend you on shows as a guest. And then I had her on my podcast and it was so good. She talked about, because of her book, When You Come Home, she was someone who was talking about Gulf War syndrome before anyone else was. And people kept dismissing it as a conspiracy theory and it's totally legit. And so I had her on when George Bush, Papa Bush died. I had her on to talk about why he's so bad and why, everyone thinks of not everyone, lots of people refer to the first Gulf War as the good Gulf War. But it was horrible. And it not just did it kill, so many Iraqi civilians, the numbers of people of U.S. soldiers was low, but they brought they came home with this thing with Gulf War syndrome, and a lot of them had health issues after that. Anyway.
Katie, so you went upstate, which was smart, because we are packed in densely here.
Well, that's what I was afraid of. And it's so messed up because it's like scary that I keep thinking about how much this is a question of, it's kind of like climate change where it is a question of access and privilege, but it's also universal. So I think things like this do have the potential of maybe, but it doesn't really climate change, but maybe kicking people's butts into gear a little bit in a way that's a little bit more universalistic than usual.
I'm hoping.
That's what I'm hoping, yeah. But as you said, it can bring out the worst in people. And I do have to say something, Juliana, I got to say something.
Do it.
So everyone's talking about how crazy, irresponsible. Oh wait, which part of Useful Idiots did you play?
We played the Noam Chomsky part.
Okay, great.
I have many questions about how it is that you were able to like, I mean,
all right. Well, let me
to interview Noam Chomsky. Is he super depressing or was it, uplifting?
Depressing, but amazing too. The guy is a total encyclopedia. And if you let him talk, I mean, he could talk for hours uninterrupted.
He should be on Twitch talking for hours.
That's a great idea, right? But so the thing I want to say, and I asked because I didn't know if you played a part of this week's show where I mentioned this, and you didn't, so I won't be redundant. Is that everyone loves to talk about how ignorant and unprecedented threat, existential threat Donald Trump is, and how he's being so anti-scientific, and how he has so much blood on his hands over his treatment of COVID-19, and that's true. But what's amazing to me is that you had Joe Biden tweeting something that said, if you're not feeling symptoms, if you're not showing symptoms, go out and vote. And the implication of that, of course, is that if you're not showing symptoms, you don't have the virus.
That's the problem.
And then you had a high up person in his campaign, Simone Sanders, say on CNN that the CDC said it was safe to vote. Absolute, just lie. Straight up lie. At the time that she had said this, they had said that you shouldn't be in places with more than 50 people.
Wow.
And then, of course, you have Tom Perez urging states not to delay. Not only did he urge states not to delay the primaries, he threatened to punish them by reducing the number of delegates if they did that. This is so craven. And I have to admit, like, I'm someone who's increasingly of the mind that there's a difference between Dems and Republicans, but it's almost negligible. It's definitely smaller than it should be. But I still didn't think that Biden would tweet something so anti-scientific. And I really didn't think that Tom Perez would threaten to punish states for delaying a primary. And I didn't think that Simone Sanders would get on CNN and say that the CDC had said it was safe to vote. That's Katie, a level.
Was there any apology after that, or how was the outcry?
No. In fact, I have to do a piece on this. Maybe I'll try to get it out today. But it is so negligent. And then I had on my show this week Shir Omar, who is an Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan coordinator for Bernie Sanders. He's a really interesting life. He's a Somali refugee. And he went to some of these polling sites. You may have seen some of his things have been shared a lot online. But he went to these polling sites and he said, he posts footage of how crowded they are. He also interviewed this woman talking about how she left. She was waiting outside because it was too crowded in there. She was saying how you had all these senior citizens sitting there. People were close to each other. He said that he visited nearly 15 polling sites, and that not a single one was in compliance with CDC recommendations. He said that people were not 6 feet away from each other. He said that people were using the same pens without wiping them down.
No.
We're using the same voting things without wiping it down. I just think this is like a new level of craven disregard. And you have I'll say this, Joe Biden and Tom Perez basically are sending people to their deaths. They are. There's no way people won't be exposed to that. There's no way statistically, if you have that many people, some people aren't going to be carriers. I think I should probably get an epidemiologist on. They're definitely sending people to a possible death. Let's say that.
Why? But Donald Trump is definitely sending people to their death.
Yeah, but we all know that. That's the thing that drives me crazy. Like, we need to be exposing what the Dems are doing, if only to pressure them not to do that. I mean, a large reason.
I like the idea of pressuring them not to do that and be like the party that we need them to be right now.
Yeah, a large reason is that people think if you're critical of Dems, you're being pro-Trump or you like the Republicans.
There's a fear because so many people who listen to some people who are not you exactly, but in the last election who are against, who would like spend their time just tearing down the Democrats when there was Trump.
Right.
Honestly, we just talked right before the segment about how people, because Trump says it's Chinese virus, that people are like, oh, no, I hate the Chinese. Like, how dumb. We have a lot of stupid, impressionable Americans who also have the right to vote. And so the idea of like, it feeds into this both sides do it bullshit.
Right.
That I think is dangerous when you have an enormous amount of morons in the country.
Yes, but look at what happens. There is no accountability there for Dems. They will face no consequences. So
they're all we have.
I know, but we need to be demanding that they're better, because if not, guess what? We're going to keep getting Trumps. And this is what people don't realize. And if he's defeated, great, in 2020. But Trumpism won't be. So we're going to have to work on that. And I do think, it's not both sidesism, but it's look, it is so scary to me that Biden would tweet something like that, where he's not supposed to be I don't want the Dems to be a slightly less over the top anti-science party.
Oh, that's why we wanted Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, it's not over. It's not over. But yes, I just think it's outrageous. I think that I think that pointing out that a Biden person lied.
Wait, what do you think? I'm sorry. What do you
I just think it's not that we have to do that. If we don't point out that they lie, if we don't make it, and the media has to do this, and if we don't make it politically costly, I'm not saying go vote for Trump, don't vote for the Dem, whatever people want to do. But if we don't make it politically costly or media coverage costly for someone to lie and endanger people's lives, we're doing a disservice.
What do you think what do you think will happen as the coronavirus continues its trajectory here to primary elections? What do you think the solution would be?
I think they needed to move all of them, delay all of them. And
how about paper balloting?
Oh, well, they're doing that now, of course, mail-in ballot. Imagine if they had said, we're going to wait and do mail-in balloting. Now, I'm not even saying this would have helped Sanders. That's the thing. I'm just saying, like, from a health perspective and a humanity perspective.
Yeah, right.
I do think they were scared. I will say, I do think that they were terrified that giving more time would have potentially harmed Biden and helped Sanders, because I think the more time Biden's in the public eye, the more people will notice he's not there, that he's avoiding the media. The more he'll. I have to admit, I was amazed by how coherent he was at the last debate. I think they probably pumped him full of steroids or some kind of uppers, but and let him sleep for like 2 days uninterrupted before. But I do think that's true. I think that's why they were so. This idea that the Democratic Party, which barely advocates for enfranchisement, all of a sudden couldn't delay some primaries so that people wouldn't maybe die is just absurd. And so, there was obviously a political motivation.
And what do you make of the fear that people have that if states start delaying or their elections because of this, then maybe Trump will pull some, let's delay the general election? I think people have that fear.
Yeah, I think that constantly anticipating what Trump will do, not that we should anticipate it, but I think that there's a danger, and I think a lot of people have understandably fallen into this, but of thinking, I'm not saying it'd be good to delay the general, I'm just saying in general, no pun intended, I think there's a tendency to kind of like think too much about, we can organize and be effective, I think, if we look at things in a more holistic way. So not just how can Trump take advantage of this, because I actually think ultimately that focus weakens the left and the Democratic Party. I do. I think that people have become so reactive in an unhealthy way. And I don't just mean that it's morally and politically messed up. I think it's actually not good policy. I think it actually undermines the Dems. It's like we're too on the defensive. And there are so many things that we could be doing to actually bring people into the party and actually undermine Trump. And I do think that here's the problem. When there's constant coverage of Trump in a way that, I think the Russiagate thing was such a disaster. I think that he came out more popular. I think that I do think there's a Trump derangement syndrome. And I say this from the left, not from the right, but I think that their brains shut down, and whatever Trump does is inherently bad. And the opposite of what Trump does is inherently good. You don't have to like Trump to understand that that bad people will do good things, not necessarily for the right reasons. Maybe it's political expediency, but that happens all the time. Yeah. It's just the way you do so many things when you're president. Some of the things are going to be not awful, not for good reason. But look at this. I mean, he's more open to giving people money now than the Dems are. You have
You have a new Twitch channel, is that correct?
Yes.
I just want to say that you are perfect for Twitch, because we just got on here and started just chewing the fat randomly, and we had this really great deep conversation already, which has a lot of great points, and our chat is blowing up. What is your Twitch handle? I believe it's Katie Halps. Can someone check? Letter K, letter T, HALPS. You got the Katie Halper Show bump. I'm just kidding. I say that self-deprecatingly. No, it's great.
Whenever any politician who's been on the show wins an election, and whenever they lose, it's because they didn't come on early enough.
Exactly. That's what I used to say. So you're not on WBAI anymore, is that right?
No, I am.
Oh, you are? Oh,
yeah, sorry. So I go on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. and excuse me.
Are you still going into the studio? Probably not if you're.
Oh, no. But I did one yesterday that was I was on Skype and the guests were on the phone. That's the one I did with Shir Omar, which I really recommend people follow that guy's Twitter. It's pretty amazing. It's really inspiring. That's ABSHIR DSM, I believe. If you put in Shir Omar.
And what time are you going to be stream chatting on the Twitch?
What time should I do it, guys? Tell me what's a good time.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I think not in the morning, so that we don't have to be on against each other, but we can.
Oh yeah. Well, what about noon? How about noon? Is that a good time?
I don't know. I think I really don't know. You have to look into like who your following might be, and then just look into who else is doing it. I think Sam Cedar sucks up a lot of and our group here sucks up, and then other streamers suck up a lot of like the noontime stream.
Oh man,
for progressives. So
do you go till what's your time period?
I go to 9, and then James comes in at 9, and he goes to at noon and goes to about 3. And if you're watching on our Facebook page, you should do that.
But but you're here late. We're doing this now. That's not your typical.
Yeah, spot? I am 9 to. I'm sorry, I must have misspoke. I'm on from 9 to noon Eastern.
Okay, got it.
But then,
so I could then, if I didn't want to compete with you, I could go on at noon. And I have someone. I'm going to try to raid someone. Is that do you know this term, to raid?
Well, let's talk about that a little later. I definitely know the rating, but and I can help you with that. But since we're on both Facebook and Twitch, I feel like our Facebook audience on Act.tv doesn't necessarily know Twitch because Facebook people.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I think that
nighttime is a good time to go on because people. Are you going on every day? Do you know what you're saying?
I just started. So I think I'd like to go on every day. I have to figure out the time, but
you'll be good at it because I just saw what you just did. And you were like, I can really only talk to you for 10 minutes, and you've been on for almost a half an hour.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to kick me off, that's totally fine. I moved.
Oh, I'm not kicking you off. I just didn't want to I know you said you were limited for time, so I didn't want to squeeze you for your.
Yeah, no, thanks. I know this is so fun. And I want to do it. I want to try to do it 5 days a week. And
how are you guys doing your podcast?
The Useful Idiots one? Because that's what you mean. Yeah, because we're on YouTube also. So we do video and audio. We just did it remotely. We actually use Zoom, but I think we need to use. I know, I know, because I came on via Zoom, but I actually think we need to use this other program, this Ecamm, which lets you capture things separately. Because Zoom, I believe you capture I think you can get the audio separately, but not the video separately.
Wait a minute.
No, that's not true.
Sorry, I don't know, but I just got liberalism denies reality just put in our chat, that's the username, that Trump just waived all interest on student loans and suspended payment requirements.
See, this is
news of my life.
I mean, this is what's scary, and this is the Dems' fault. They should not be being outflanked on the left by Donald Trump.
Thank you. We should have
And you
done
know what?
Oh.
If that's not on us for noticing it. It's not, I'm not being
No.
Trumpian because I point that out or because this person Trump points that out. The Dems are enabling Trump.
Yeah, you're giving good advice to the Democratic Party.
I
to,
know.
like,
I hate
get
them so much. It's ironic, but I am. Because they're the
get
only
your
thing we got
shit
right
in
now.
order, right? In order to like,
Yeah.
I mean, God, we were already on this like 4 years ago when we had Bernie running back
I
then.
know.
We
I
were
know. It's
on this.
unbelievable. It's truly
Unbelievable.
unbelievable.
Hey, thanks for coming on. You're coming on Tuesday, is that right? To continue this convo?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's going to be so good. I am really looking forward to it. Yup. Well, we're at the end of our stream pretty much, so we're going to be
Okay.
wrapping it up. You can find Katie Halper on Twitter at KTHalps, KTHALPS. You got a
That's
great
letter
Twitter
K,
follow.
letter T, just so people know. It's kind of
Oh yeah,
stupid I
letter
have that,
K,
but yeah.
very
Letter
good.
K, letter
And where's
T.
the podcast?
So the Katie Halper Show is on SoundCloud, iTunes. I have a Patreon for that where you get bonus episodes, Patreon only episodes, which are really great. A recent one actually has Jack Allison on it. Jack Allison's a big Twitch person. He's from the podcast Struggle Session, great podcast with the amazing Leslie Lee. So my shows, it's patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show, then SoundCloud, iTunes, and then Useful Idiots is like wherever you find or listen to podcasts, plus YouTube.
We play segments from your podcast, Useful Idiots, and your other podcast starting soon, but every week on our Lefty Podcast Roundup. So you've already basically been on Twitch.
Thank you. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's since January. Hey, thanks a ton. I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Great.
All right. Bye, Katie.
Bye.
Good to see you. Stay
You
good.
too. You too.